Aging isn't inevitable the way you've been told it is. There's a molecule sitting right now in a grocery store near you that triggers the same cellular repair pathway as a pharmaceutical drug that costs $1,200 a month. Same mechanism, same downstream effect, different price tag. That molecule is called spermidine, and the food it lives in costs about $3. Before this video ends, you're going to understand exactly why no one in a white coat has mentioned it to you, and you're going to understand the biology well enough to decide for yourself. There's a protein inside your cells called mTOR, mechanistic target of rapamycin. It's a molecular switch, a signal receiver. When it's activated, it tells your cells to grow, to build, to produce. That's useful. You need it. But here's what nobody tells you. mTOR was designed to switch off. It was designed to cycle. When it goes quiet, your cells enter a cleanup mode. They break down damaged proteins. They clear the debris. They recycle dying organelles. They reset. That cleanup is called autophagy. And without it, your cells age faster, not metaphorically, measurably. Now think about what the modern Western diet does. Constant glucose spikes, chronically elevated insulin, high protein meals back to back. Every one of those signals tells mTOR to stay on, to never stop. Your cellular factory never closes for maintenance. Waste builds up on the floor. Machines start to malfunction. Output drops. That's not a metaphor. That is literally what's happening inside aging tissue. You feel it as brain fog, joint stiffness, waking up more exhausted than when you went to sleep. That low-grade feeling that something inside you is running behind. When mTOR never switches off, it activates something called NF-kappa B. That's the inflammatory cascade, the distress signal that keeps firing even when there's no acute threat. Chronic inflammation isn't a symptom of aging. It's one of the engines driving it. And here's where it gets important. There is a switch, and someone found it in a grocery store. Spermidine is the hero compound. It's a naturally occurring polyamine, a class of molecules your own body produces, though production declines sharply with age. What spermidine does is remarkable. It suppresses mTOR, and when mTOR gets suppressed, autophagy activates. The cellular cleanup crew shows up. Damaged proteins get degraded, debris gets cleared. The factory finally gets cleaned. This is not theoretical biology. This is documented in peer-reviewed research. In 2018, Nature's Cell Biology published research showing that spermidine extends lifespan in model organisms directly through autophagy activation. That's not correlation. The mechanism was identified. In 2021, Nature Aging published findings linking spermidine supplementation in aging adults to improved memory performance and reduced markers of neurodegeneration. Two of the most respected journals in cellular biology. Same compound, same mechanism. Now here's the part that should make you pause. There's a pharmaceutical drug called Rapamycin. It's an mTOR inhibitor. It extends lifespan in multiple species. Researchers at the Buck Institute for Research on Aging have studied it extensively. Dr. David Sinclair has discussed it publicly. It costs over $1,200 a month. It's not prescribed for aging. It's an immunosuppressant with real risks attached to long-term use. Spermidine activates the same downstream autophagy pathway. Same destination, completely different road. No prescription, no immunosuppression. So why hasn't your doctor mentioned this? That's a fair question. And the answer isn't a conspiracy. It's just economics. Spermidine is a naturally occurring molecule. It cannot be patented. No one can charge $1,200 a month for it. So the research exists, and it does exist. But the machinery that funds clinical trials and drives prescriptions doesn't run on molecules it can't own. That's not cynicism. That's just how the incentive structure works. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. 1,000 years before the word autophagy existed, people in Japan were eating natto, fermented soybeans, a staple in Okinawa, a daily food in the Edo period. Okinawa has one of the highest concentrations of centenarians on the planet. That's not a coincidence hiding in a history book. That's a data point that took modern science centuries to catch up with. Your ancestors weren't eating fermented foods because they were fashionable. They weren't doing it because a nutrition coach told them to. They were doing it because generations of lived experience told their bodies to. The wisdom wasn't written down in cellular biology. It was written into culture, into ritual, into what you put on the table every morning. Here's what the science now confirms. Fermentation increases spermidine bioavailability. The fermentation process itself concentrates the compound and makes it more accessible to your cells. Traditional cultures had stumbled onto autophagy activation before the word existed. They had no language for mTOR suppression, but they had natto, they had wheat germ, they had aged cheeses and mushrooms and green peas. They had foods we now know are among the richest dietary sources of spermidine on Earth. That's not ancient wisdom as a metaphor. That's ancient wisdom as mechanism. And if that doesn't make you look at your food differently, I don't know what will. Wheat germ is the single highest dietary source of spermidine available. The studies that showed meaningful effects used approximately 1.2 milligrams of spermidine daily. You can hit that through diet. 2 tablespoons of wheat germ on a morning meal gets you close. Add it to yogurt, blend it into a smoothie, sprinkle it on whatever you're already eating. It has almost no flavor. There's no barrier there. Natto is harder. I'll be honest with you. The texture and smell are genuinely confrontational if you weren't raised on it. The practical workaround? Buy frozen natto. Thaw it, mix it with soy sauce and mustard the way it's traditionally served, and eat it fast. Don't analyze it. Your cells don't care if you enjoy it. Aged cheddar, mushrooms, and green peas are gentler on-ramps to the same pathway. Work with what you'll actually eat consistently. Now here's what you need to avoid. Excess simple sugars, chronically high protein intake. Both of those signals slam mTOR back on and blunt autophagy. That's what a modern Western diet does at almost every meal. You can eat spermidine-rich foods and still undermine the mechanism if you're not aware of what's working against it. I'm currently on day 8 of a daily wheat germ and natto protocol. I'm not going to tell you what I've noticed yet, because I want the data, not just the feeling. But I'll tell you this, something is different. I'm testing it so you don't have to guess. You came into this video thinking about a $3 food. You're leaving it understanding why a $1,200 drug and a bowl of fermented soybeans can activate the same molecular switch inside your cells. That's not marketing. That's cellular biology. Your body has a cleanup system. It was built into you. The question is whether your daily choices are letting it run. The ancient populations of Okinawa didn't know the word autophagy, but their cells did. Have you ever eaten natto or wheat germ without knowing it might have been protecting your cells? Drop it below. You may have been doing this for years without knowing why your body was asking for it. The next chapter of this experiment is coming, and the results might change how you think about everything you eat before noon.